Good morning. Thank you for joining the Kehillat Shari Torah Halacha Review. We are talking about lighting the Chanukah menorah, of course, appropriate to this time of year. And the Kitzur Shulchan Aruch wishes to instruct us about what time to actually light the menorah. The time to light the menorah is immediately after the stars appear, and you should not delay it. That is, in this part of the world, at this time of year, right around 5:30. You're not supposed to do anything else before lighting the menorah, even study Torah. The footnote says it's forbidden to do any work from 1/2 hour before the actual time for lighting. See Shar Hatzion, one of the commentaries says this does not apply to Torah study. You can study right up until the proper lighting time. I usually tell this brief anecdote this time of year. I and a study partner were summarily ejected, thrown out, asked to vacate the premises from one of the fine synagogues on Bathurst Street. We had a chavrusa. We used to learn one day a week, couple days a week. We used to meet late in the afternoon, and we would learn together, I don't know, at 5 o'clock or whatever it was. So we were sitting, learning, minding our own business, when the rabbi of the shul came in and said, "Get out. It's time to light menorah, and you're not even allowed to learn Torah at that time." Can you imagine that something takes precedence over Torah learning? So we sheepishly packed out, went home, lit the menorah, and to be truthful, I don't remember if we came back and continued learning that evening in that synagogue, but we are still learning, so at least that's a good thing. All right, so I think that just underscores the importance of making sure to light the menorah and not to let anything get in our way. Even the most important things. We have a clear set of priorities, thankfully, that are articulated in our halacha. Now, the only exception to this is if you have not daven ma'ariv, you should first daven ma'ariv and then light the menorah. Before lighting the menorah, you should gather the entire family in order to proclaim the event publicly, says Kitzur Shulchan Aruch, and pour in enough oil, or, he doesn't say this, but I'm adding this, use enough candles to last a half an hour, because you're going to light, let's say 5:30, 5:35, you want it to burn for a half an hour, it's already after nightfall, so from here on is your time. If, for some reason, inadvertently, you did not light the menorah immediately, you may light them and say the brachas, as long as members of your family are still awake. However, if the family is still asleep, is already asleep, it's midnight, 1 o'clock, whatever it was, by the time you got around to lighting the menorah, it's no longer considered Pirsume Nisa. This is not a public event of publicizing the miracle of Hanukkah, and you should light the licht, you should light the candles, but without the brachas, because there's nobody around to hear them. Yeah, so if you won't have enough time to light the menorah at night, you may do it before the time that we said, before 5:30, so let's say 5 o'clock, or even a little bit earlier, as we will see. But you can do it before, and light the menorah from Plag HaMincha. Plag HaMincha, and you can light the menorah and say the bracha. What is Plag HaMincha, you ask? Excellent question. That is 1 1/4 hours, that being halachic hours, not 75 minutes. If it was 75 minutes on the clock, they would say that. They mean to say 1 1/4 sha'ot zmaniot, halachic hours. That is 1/12 of the time from sun up to sundown at whatever time of year. So an actual halachic hour. That's why candlelighting time changes week to week, and all the other zmanim, all the other halachic times, which you can find very conveniently by Googling my zmanim space Toronto. It'll give you a nice readout of all the times for each day, including Plag HaMincha. Plag HaMincha is 1 1/4 halachic hours before the stars come out. And in the season of Hanukkah, days are short. The day is only, let's say, 10 hours long on the clock, right? It starts getting dark at 4:30, 4:45, and the sun only came up at, 7, something like that, so a little bit before 7. So it's a very short day if you're measuring on the clock, but it's still exactly 12 halachic hours, just like it is in the summertime on our halachic watch. You can kindle the menorah then as long as you put enough oil. Oh, here's the catch. You have to put enough oil to burn a half an hour after the stars become visible. If the lights do not burn that long, you have not fulfilled the mitzvah, right? So you lit at Plag HaMincha. Let's speak about that because it's very nageya till tomorrow. You know what? We'll speak about it tomorrow. Tune in tomorrow, and we will detail all of these instructions to make them as clear as can possibly be. All right? Please join us then. In the meantime, have a wonderful day.